Yeah, what's up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast coming at you. Another live stream, and I really got a banger tonight. Got my guys here on with me. First and foremost, I got Jim from the Fan in the Van podcast. I got my man Garrett with two T's, my ad, all right? From,
You're good, dude.
from Two Dudes with Sports News podcast. Also, these two guys collab on a banging podcast, man, that covers Steelers and Jaguars, the Steel and Teal podcast with Jim and Garrett. So, what's up, gentlemen? Thank you for jumping on tonight. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. Appreciate you having us on.
Yep.
We're definitely gonna go and we gotta dive in today on on two divisions, right? There's a reason why you guys are on. You're pros at this. We got to do the AFC North predictions. I know Jim is a big Browns fan, so that's why I'm having him on. So.
Yeah.
I know you like that stiff arm in the intro.
Yeah. And of course, we're gonna do the AFC South as well. That's why, Garrett, I know you're a big Jags guy. You know what I mean. So we're gonna kind of break down. Just tell the audience a quick outtake here. We're gonna go through predictions. Anything you guys want to share in regards to the biggest surprises of the season. We're gonna hit some fantasy content, players, breakouts, all that good shit, and anything else that comes back to mind. Again, audience, you're ready for. You're gonna be these viewers who are viewing tonight, man. Are gonna be in for a treat because these guys hold back, no punches, and it's not for the weak of hearing. Okay, so let's get popping, man. Without further ado, guys, we have the season's going to start about a month, right? More or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we at? September 27, a little over a month. I forget when the first week is.
Long.
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy because I can't wait to just watch Red Zone for like 9 hours, and my wife be upset at me when it's every Sunday because in the morning I'm doing a podcast with some other guys, right, about sitting starts and all that shit, and betting like about an hour and a half, and then there's a little bit of a break, and then boom, I'm on the couch, and the kids are all. So I don't know if you guys have the same
religion,
problem.
man.
Pretty
It's
much,
a religion.
Yeah, it is. It is. She's used to it by now after like 12 years. So So let's start with the should we start with the AFC North? Right,
Go
Jim?
for it.
What do you think, man? Let's do that, and I guess let's Jim take the bat first because that's Jim's bread and butter, baby. The Steelers. Jim, what can you tell us, man? First of all, let's go easy on this, right? Who do you think is going to win the division, right? And listen, you could be as optimistic as you want, being a big-time Steelers fan.
Well, being optimistic, I did have the team winning the North as the Bengals, but we seen earlier today, obviously, Joe Burrow with it supposedly is a calf injury. We really don't know, but I still think even if he's healthy going into the season, the Bengals are one of the hardest teams now to beat in the AFC North. And that's something that really couldn't be said for a long time. So I think the Bengals come out as the AFC North champs, but the Steelers are right there taking the number one wildcard spot. I think the Ravens take a bit of a step back, and a part of that is I don't think you're going to get a fully ready Odell Beckham Jr. And the Browns, as always, will be in the cellar.
Yeah, absolutely. You think the Browns are for sure it's going to be in the cellar. The Browns are definitely going to be at the bottom of the barrel, right? That's
always.
Yeah, I don't care who they get at this point. I don't care who they have. Myles Garrett could play balls to the wall all year, be Defensive Player of the Year, and Cleveland's still going to be the fourth best team in a stacked AFC North. It's just what it is. It's what history has proven year in and year out since Cleveland's existence.
Cleveland has less than 5 winning seasons, if I remember correctly, since 1990.
Wow.
Yep.
30 years. To put that in perspective, my team's been around for 28 years, and we have more winning seasons than Cleveland.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, man, you guys started early with the Brunell days. You know what I mean?
We did.
I was a stud, man.
I'll take it.
Yeah, shit, I'll take Brunell now with the Giants every time.
You don't like Daniel Jones?
Nah, I like Danny. I like that. Danny's gonna do it right, man. Danny, I think Danny just needed a good coach, and I think we finally have one that actually knows what the hell he's doing when he's calling plays and coming up with the schemes and stuff like that. So the Cleveland Browns 7-10 last year. You know how Deshaun Watson, he, all that guaranteed money, and there's no surprise here how much he struggled. Right, the guy hasn't played like almost 2 years. Get to the field. How much of a difference do you think he's going to be this year after finally getting some of the raw stuff last season? Is he going to be the same Deshaun that looked in that MVP form, what actually took the Texans to the playoffs, and even had Kansas City on the ropes with a 44-point lead. And the history after that. What do you think? Is that a possibility, or
I don't think he fully gets back to that MVP type Deshaun Watson. Does he get close to it? I think he can, but a lot of things also factor into it. Like pretty much his whole offensive weaponry, as far as his wide receivers and running backs have to be healthy the whole year. The line's got to protect them, and they have to have a good offensive scheme. And even with all that, they're still going to be a below 500 team. I don't care what the delusional Browns fans say. That's just where they're going to be. Just where they're always going to be. They're always going to be in the cellar. They're always going to be owned by the Ravens, the Bengals, and my Pittsburgh Steelers. Hate it or love it, but that's what it is.
what do you think, Gary? Does he have a chance to be close to that Deshaun that he was before, or not even?
No, and it's because the reason why, and I said it on an episode with Jalen and I a while ago. Jim, I don't know if you and I had talked about it or not, but I don't think so, because in the action he had last year, it looked like he hadn't even picked up a football for the entire 2 years he wasn't playing, which, and it may be an understatement, maybe an overstatement 1 years. I don't care. He looked like he hadn't picked up a ball. And I understand you can't simulate game speed, but you can simulate throwing motions and muscle memory and everything. I've gotten into it with people on, if I have the patience, I'll get into Twitter fights with people, and I have the time. It's like that old Incredibles meme where it's just Mr. Incredible sitting in the car like, yeah, I got time. If I got the patience for it, I'll jump in on it. And it's muscle memory is super important in this game, and it looks like he's lost almost all of it. So knocking the rust off, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's an understatement. I just don't think he's there. I think he's gonna be Zeke Elliott 2.0. He's literally he's got his money. He doesn't care anymore.
That's a fair point. I never looked at it from the point of being comfortable financially. Definitely, yeah. I think from a skill level, I saw a lot last year, man. That a lot of it was rust, but a lot of it was also not. I think upstairs as well. I think this whole cases, and they're still pending cases, right? I think he still got lawsuit civilly left, or I think he said, I'm not too sure, but I think this whole ordeal with the all the cases he had pending on the massage thing, and the whole sexual harassment crap and sexual abuse, I think it also affected him mentally, which a quarterback needs to be as sharp upstairs, right, as it is physically out of the field, right? Because I mean, to me, he is the guy, right? There's so many plays that he has to memorize, that he has to go through, or the successions and all that stuff, and he looks slow. Is that just me? Like, he wasn't getting the ball out as quick as he used to do it. And he's not known for his arm or anything like that. He has athleticism. He's not like a super kill athleticism like Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurst or even Justin Fields, right? But he's athletic, right? He just looks slow overall from a throwing motion, from just the successions of plays and all that stuff. And I think it's just a combination of both, right? So I agree with both of you. I think he's going to be okay, but I don't think he's going to be a shell of what Deshaun Watson in the Texas work.
He completed 58% of his passes last year, which is down 12% from the year before. Like he's not the same player. He's not the same player.
That's from the last time he played too, because he also decided to sit out because he didn't like what Houston was doing, because they told him, you could have a hand in picking the GM. They went and they hired Nick Caesaro from New England. He didn't have a hand in that. Then he wanted, a minority head coach, which is, hey, that's fine. But then you pick, Dan Cooley, whatever his name was, the worst coaching I've ever seen. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm sitting out. I'm not playing. I don't blame him for that, but that's the start of why he's not the same. Even though he can become the same Watson he was in Houston, that plus all the off-field situations he's got going on, I agree, does play a mental factor into his on-the-field play. Because you're not escaping that. You're never going to escape all of that. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be talked about. You've seen when Cleveland went to every stadium last year. That's all it was discussed. You've seen all the Browns haters out there with the massage tables out and all the shirts making fun of Watson. and you're just never going to escape it. And people like us don't help it because that's all we talked about.
It was a lot to Deshaun
So
Watson. Sure.
yeah, that's probably the only time you ever hear somewhat defend the douchebag.
Well, the biggest thing with it too, like it's to me, I feel like quarterbacks in the NFL have the same mentality that like a closing pitcher or relief pitcher has. Closing pitcher in baseball for sure, just related to another sport, because closing pitchers can be used time and time and time again. You may have given up, the game-winning home run last night in the 11th inning, but guess what? You're back on the mound again tonight. Block it out. Never happened. Go back. Shut them down. Like it's. And I got into it with somebody before. It's the idea that drives me crazy. People, well, the pressure's higher on him. Like, no, it's not. The pressure's high on everybody. You have, especially the quarterback position. It doesn't matter what city you're in. I don't care what anybody says. You can be in the smallest media market and the biggest media market. You have one of 32 jobs in the world, and it's starting quarterback. I don't care what city you're in. Spotlights are on. If you can't block it out and the lights are too bright, then you're not going to succeed. And right now, the lights on him are way too bright. He can't hold it. And if he proves me wrong, great. If he doesn't prove me wrong, cool. I'm right again.
It is the most important position in football. That's why they're not. Peyton Manning is not doing a show on running backs. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna watch that, right? There's a reason why they went after a scrub who's washed up in Mariota, middle of the road kind of guy who's been choking all his life. But by the way, I became a fan of Kirk Cousins as a person after watching this damn show. I don't know if you guys watched the whole thing, and of course the GOAT, fucking Patrick Mahomes.
No, I love Kirk Cousins as a person. And statistically, he's a fantastic quarterback, but statistically doesn't always win you games. And here's the thing though, Kirk will never win a Super Bowl because they're always played after 4:15.
Yeah.
You get a 1 p.m. Super Bowl, Vikings could do it all. They can go completely undefeated. But now that it's 4:15, I don't know.
That's always gonna be with him, man. Poor guy. They're never gonna let that live. You know what I'm saying?
Well, start beating it. Beat the record. There's a reason why all these jokes come about is because you statistically play like shit after 4 o'clock. I don't know if you need a bedtime or something, or you need a 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. nap. Like, what's up? But you don't play right.
What they should do is tell Kirk that the game is at 1, even though it's at 4, and just fuck with his clocks and just make it look like it's at 1 o'clock, and then he'll be the greatest quarterback ever.
Set all the clocks in the stadium to 1 o'clock game time. That'll be perfect.
I think Kirk is definitely Phillip Rivers 2.0, right? He's going to have all these damn numbers, right? In the top 10 or the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the history of the game and not reflect any type of winning. I mean, right now, Justin Herbert is Kirk Cousins 2.0, if you look at the numbers, right? Because even though it's only been 3 years, you guys came back on him last year. I like Herbert. You know what I mean?
I will cook kid every day of the week. I don't care. And now he's making an absurd amount of money to have
the market
be a statistical wonder. It's great. You're making a ton of money for your 0 playoff wins, your barely 500 record, which is true. He's 25-24 as a career quarterback. So I don't know.
Yeah, what happened is that you either pay him or you got to pay. I'm trying to think. You got Baker Mayfield starting and fucking probably for the Bucks, right?
Well, you could have picked up his 5th-year option, which would have been fine.
He would have walked.
He wouldn't have walked if they picked up a 5th. He would have been fine. He would have.
Yeah, he would have definitely played the market and make it harder on him. They just, it's one of those things that sign the guy, even though he hasn't proven for you. It's just one of those things. I mean, like you said, statistically, if you look at his numbers, the guy's insane. He's a first in a bunch of categories in the first 3 seasons of his career. Mm-hmm. But hey, it's the Chargers, bro. They're going to charge. They're going to do what they're going to do and be mediocre the rest of their career. So, Garrett, real quick, Jim, you said who's taking the division again? You said definitely the
right now, as long as Burrow injury isn't significant, the Bengals will win the AFC North. I have to be optimistic. I can't sit here and be that Homer Steeler fan that thinks that we're going to go undefeated and win it all. You got to be realistic, and you got to look at everything kind of eyes wide open instead of blinding everything else and just Steeler everything. So to me, the Bengals wind up winning the AFC North. I hate to say it, but I gotta be real and honest about it.
Be like that Falcon with the little hood on where it can't see anything until you take it off.
Whatever. You're right. You got to see what's going to happen with his calf strain, right? I mean, if it's just a minimal, he's going to play because last year he was injured also when he started the season. You know what I mean? No news from Burrow, so I guess we got to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be fine. And for me, Jim, I agree with you for most of it. I think the Bengals take it. It's their division to lose at this point. I do disagree with you on second place. I think no hate towards the Steelers. I just think Baltimore's better. And the reason why is now Lamar has weapons, so there's no excuse. And I'm not saying OBJ after a year off is going to be the prominent weapon. I actually, we'll get into this later. OBJ comes up later for me. But I think Zay Flowers, who also comes up later for me, is right now in camp. He's a dog. You've also got Isaiah Likely, so they don't have to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. They can run a lot of 2 tight end sets and be fine. I think Baltimore second place, Pittsburgh third, and as usual, Cleveland is garbage.
You know what?
Well, that we can all freaking agree on. Cleveland.
We can all agree on that one, except for the Cleveland fans on Rumble.
I think the factor here for the Steelers for me, Jim, is definitely how the Ravens are going to play, right? Lamar Jackson healthy. I mean, we know what he could do with nothing. So now he actually has some weapons on the offensive side. I mean, Rashad, Master Bateman, he actually has to be healthy and play. Yeah, that's another. That dude had skills, but you seen him the short sample size. I mean, he started on like a house of fire. He is a little bit of a one-trick pony. He's most of his points and his production was from big bombs last year. Then he was out for like the rest of the season. And Zay Flowers, a rookie, love that kid. I seen him in college play. OBJ, listen, I'm not an OBJ fan.
No, I'm not either. But
7 or 8 games, and you got to call it a day, right? And then Mark Andrews, but I think there's still enough around him to, I think, maybe propel him over the Steelers. Now, I'm not saying that the Steelers cannot make the wild card because I think this AFC North can be the NFC East of last year. Where the Giants, the Eagles, and Dallas Cowboys all make the playoffs, right? So there's a good possibility this division is not good.
If Lamar gets hurt again and Tyler Huntley has to start, if you look at the numbers last year, they actually averaged 14 points on offense per game when Tyler Huntley's under quarterback.
I think it was 17 with Lamar, right? Something like that, right?
It was 20-something with Lamar. It was an extra touchdown, basically. But
it was like 21 with Lamar.
It was 17 average overall, I think. But yeah, you're right, 14 and 20.
Yeah, it's an extra touchdown. I mean, it's still that's an extra 7 points you got to overcome. So I mean that's hard to replace.
Yep.
Which I mean that if I'm Lamar, that's the easiest contract argument I have. If I go up there and it's like, hey, look at this. I'm here, he's here. Like what are we doing?
Listen, dude, we there's a lot of talk about Lamar. So I work in Deerfield Beach, which is right next to Pompano where Lamar grew up. I got a bunch of guys that work for me, right? That went to high school with Lamar and know Lamar from the neighborhood, right? And they say that he's a heck of a guy, which I do. A lot of those guys do things. He comes back. He spends a lot of time in where he grew up, which is a really rough area in Pompano Beach. And he comes back and does a lot of things for the kids and all that shit. And they say he's a very simple kind of guy. There's a reason why he doesn't have an agent, has his family, which I think it's stupid, but he does his own thing, which it worked out. Not great, but he worked out this time around. But I think him as a player, I think he has a lot of balls, dude. And I appreciate the amount of work that guy put in from year 1 to year 2. It was insane how better he got. That's one thing he does have in my book over me, Hurts, and any of the other kind of like similar quarterbacks. Justin Fields, the guy works his ass off from the offseason, what I mean? And he always improves year after year, and we've seen it. So healthy, I think he's the one, and the Ravens are kind of like that outlier, right, in between that division, whether who's gonna finish second or not, or that. So, but again, it's all based on what's gonna happen with Joey Money, man. So
yeah.
All right, good deal, man. Hey, so now why don't we jump to Garrett's hometown over here, baby, of the AFC South, man. Garrett, we got to tee it off with you, brother. All right, give us your predictions. All right, division winner. Give us a surprise team, a bust. Anything you want to shed light on, man. This is your home right here, baby. Let's go, Jack.
So here's where I'm at. I'm not going to scream Duval because I live in an apartment complex. Not only my neighbors freaking out, but
Duval category.
Exactly. But like the thing with it too. So first of all, we haven't had a team to be super proud of in a very long time. That's not saying we don't all, love the Jaguars in Jacksonville. We're a diehard fan base. If anybody wants to see that, go piss off a Jaguars fan on Twitter and see what happens as the entire community just swarms you. Because
no, you guys are passionate, man. I mean, Florida fans in football, they are even when they suck. Trust me, I saw a lot of Dolphins games on the first move down here.
We bashed Phil Simms for going after one of the Dolphins fans that or was it Phil Simms? What
it was his son, right?
Simms, his son. Someone I always mix him up. The idiot son, idiot son for making. Man, he's mean to me online. Dude. We have 400 followers on our Twitter page, I think. I buy hate by the barrel. I don't care. Let's go. Anyways, Jacksonville's winning 12+ games this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like we don't have a super hard schedule. We also don't have an easy schedule. We just got Calvin Ridley back, who is now, after looking at camp, it looks like he's playing on, easy difficulty where everybody else is playing on, all Madden or all pro or something like that. And he's playing on rookie. Like, he looks different. And what everybody likes to talk about is, he had a down year the year before. It goes, yeah, he only played a couple games. If you look at his best year statistically, 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns with a broken foot the whole season.
He's the reason Julio Jones was not fucking resigned.
Exactly.
Right. So and it was fucking Julio Jones, maybe not prime Jones, but close to that. He wasn't that far off, right? It was a year or two after that. So that sets a lot of.
No, they played it the same. And I think so. We lost Marvin Jones Sr., who I love, or Marvin Jones. I love Marvin Jones. I wish him nothing the best up in Detroit. Love Marvin Jones, but now we have Zay, we have Calvin, and we have Kirk. So we now have a 3-headed monster at receiver. We have Evan Ingram. Eazy-E's finally back at tight end, and he's here for here to stay. So I'm good. We drafted, and Jim, you and I have talked about before after the draft. We didn't make a lot of big splash, sort of like sexy picks in the draft because we didn't need to. Teams that are rebuilding, Titans draft quarterbacks. Texans, Colts, all of you are rebuilding. Titans fans, you're rebuilding. You just don't know it yet. The Titans are the guy you see with the comb over, who's got it's all here in the middle, but he's combing over. Titans fans think that by crushing a bag of chips, you make more chips. Like, that's what's happening right now. Like this, look, and I'm saying this like the Titans aren't going to win second or third place in the division. I mean, that's what it is. Jaguars are winning 12+ games. Titans may win 8 or 9. It's going to be between. Titans can be second or third. The second, third, and fourth is going to be a lot more of a shootout than a lot of people think it's going to be. Texans have the potential to make a huge 180 this year after having one of the worst records in football. Go from 3-13 to maybe a 7-win team. And the Colts all depends on Richardson. If AR can put it together and learn and kind of what a lot of people also don't know as someone who grew up a Gator fan too and watched a lot of Gator football last year, we had a lot of drops. Offense wasn't called very well. I've said it during a draft. I've said it during everything. Richardson, quarterback wise, has the lowest floor in this draft, but he also has the highest ceiling. The kid, if he puts it together, will be just fine. Also, his little brother has a deeper voice than me, which is absurd. I don't know if y'all heard that.
Say about Richardson, he's not a mistake like Trey Lance.
No,
right? Early, you move down, right? He's not.
I don't know yet. I don't know if he's going to be a mistake like Trey Lance or not yet. But it's my biggest thing with it. And Trey Lance looks like he's starting to put it together. Looks like it.
A little late for that.
Yeah, no, it's a little late because now Brock Purdy's apparently back throwing at camp. Like that's Purdy's team. He's won more. His stats are better. It's fine. It's over. It's Brock's team. Big confidence Brock, as George Kittle calls him. But look, Jaguars are winning the division. It's honestly a shootout between the other three. If the Colts and Richardson can put it together and Leonard stays healthy, the Colts can easily fight for number 2. I think Texans are going to sit around that 3rd spot, and it's going to be between the Colts and the Titans to really gun for number 2.
Okay.
If the Colts can't put it together, they're dropping to bottom of the division. I think the Titans are going to – Derrick Henry is once again going to drag them to a somewhat competent season. It certainly won't be on the arm of Tannehill or Levis, the mayonnaise eater himself. which I love seeing their fan base hype him up and their Twitter page hype him up. They're like, Will Levis putting in work in the offseason. He was throwing like out routes. They do like 5 passes.
They did that last year with Malik Willis too, man. You saw that in the preseason. Holy shit!
I know,
but whole arm angles and shit. And look what happened with it.
Well, my favorite was like if what they did with this one was great because everybody was dragging it. Because if you look at the actual video, 3 of those passes were out of bounds. So you throw me 3, you show me 5 passes, and 3 of them aren't catchable. Like, what's happening? 2 of them for sure, 1 of them maybe. But like, so we're looking. He's 2 for 5 in your highlights. Wow, what are we talking about here? So like, it's look for me. Jaguars are winning. It's our division. It's our division to lose.
Absolutely. And so you don't think there's going to be, and I think I know your answer. There's no wild card coming out of the other 3 teams out of here, right?
No, not really. There's not a wild card coming out of the other three teams just because the rest of the AFC is so loaded.
Okay.
I don't see a wild card coming out of the AFC South. I think AFC South Jaguars are clinching, and that's how we're doing it. Chiefs are obviously going to clinch.
What happened there?
There we are. I'm back. Okay. Don't know what happened.
I don't know if it was. I was touching my iPad, dude. I wasn't like I was nowhere near your.
Oh, the Chiefs fans got upset when I mentioned their name.
Exactly.
Look, it was. I was praising you guys. You're going to be fine. Granted, if somebody playing Madden hits that sidearm Mahomes throw for a touchdown on me, I'm throwing my controller through the wall. I don't care. But yeah, it's just. With all these with the strength of the AFC, there's no way that another team in the AFC South makes it to the playoffs outside of the Jaguars. It's just how it is.
Fair enough. Jim, what do you think, man? I mean, for sure, I think it's kind of clear. What do you think?
I agree with it. I mean, the Jaguars just have so much upside right now. They're the only team that's not rebuilding in the AFC South. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Colts, I think, to me, it would be a surprise if they land in second place over Tennessee. But you're also banking on, obviously, they're not going to start the year with Richardson at quarterback. It's probably going to be Mullet Mania and Gardner Minshew. Okay. And then you're asking, Texans fans are asking a lot out of C.J. Stroud in his rookie year when they're in a complete rebuild all around. But the Texans, to me, they had the best draft. They had the best draft because you got the second best quarterback. You then turn around and got one of the offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, and Will Anderson.
Yep.
You picked up wide receivers that you needed. Yeah. You got him. And then you picked up Jimmy Ward in the offseason for your secondary out of San Francisco. You got DeMeco Ryans as your head coach, who isn't proven yet, but if he's anything like I think he's going to be, he could probably be, and I'm probably going to get dragged for this. He probably could be the next Mike Tomlin.
Really?
Wow. I see.
Only if Houston can win. That's the only way he becomes the next Mike Tomlin.
DeMeco was going to be what Robert Saleh was supposed to be.
Yep.
Because Saleh got a start in Jacksonville. It's not a shot at Big Bob over there, but like it's Jets fans. You haven't won a Super Bowl since we went to the moon. That is correct.
That is correct. You know your fucking history. Don't know that much.
You haven't won a Super Bowl since we went to the moon. Like, no, you're not winning. You're not winning 10 games this year, let alone winning a Super Bowl. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not getting into it. This isn't about the Jets. I'm holding back some of my strays that some of these teams are catching here.
You guys mentioned the Jets. I got to pipe in a little bit in here, right? Now, I'm not a Jets fan, but I think Houston on paper has had the draft that the Jets had a couple of years ago, where they developed, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner. That's got the same way. They got except for like the quarterback. They also got the quarterback, right? So
yeah, Stroud will be able to do something with it.
Exactly. So on paper, man, they look like they should be the team that should be the most improved, probably team in that division. Because I think the Indianapolis Colts, like you said, to me, Anthony Richardson has all the tools, man. He's a freak of nature. However, he's definitely a project, right? I mean, he needs time to develop, right? He's raw. He's very raw. I mean, he does have like all the arm strength. He's fast, right? He can move in the pocket. I think it's just the whole timing and like you said, it's because he's going to have a lot of games, right? He's one of those guys that hasn't played a lot. And when you go from, college to the NFL, things move like 3 times as fast, right? So that's where the adjustment period comes in for him. And then, like you said, yeah, the Jags for sure. I think that this division is so clear cut. The Jags are definitely taking
It's ours.
it. Tennessee will probably
ours to lose.
Yeah, we'll finish second. I mean, Derrick Henry is gonna, he's gonna have so many back problems at the end of his career from carrying this crappy ass team on. I said the other day that Derrick Henry should have the entire offense of the Tennessee Titans on his tax returns as dependents, right? Because he's freaking supporting every single one of them.
They're his
right?
children. They are
his
children.
He should get a fucking refund every year, man. Like times 1,000 here, bro. He's the reason. He's the offense, right? I mean,
He said, "I got 10 dependents."
One is the offense, dude, I don't know, man. I mean, Danny Dimes. I mean, yeah, he's no fucking Mahomes or anybody else, but he still rushed for 700 yards. He still rushed for 7 touchdowns. I mean, the Tannehill. I mean, you got what you got to get from Tannehill already a few years ago, right? That's hey, like you struck lightning in a bottle that one year. You're done.
Henry's got more kids than Phillip Rivers.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, he could open up a freaking what you call that? An adoption agency if he wants to. You know what I mean?
Which. And I can already hear some of the AFC South fans, the Colts and Titans, and all them, getting upset. Like, look, we had one great year, which is fair. But look, as someone who's been in the bottom for a while, like it is a long road from the shit house to the penthouse.
Yep.
But that fall back down is quick.
Look, you guys, like you said, you have the quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just had a shit show that first year. That's
sunshine,
right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, sunshine. He's from California. Yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
You're right.
It's a great fucking movie, bro.
We had
Urban a couple of nights ago. I had nothing else to watch, and I couldn't fall asleep, and I think I killed the whole thing, and then I couldn't get up for the work the next day. But anyway, yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, I mean, you guys have the tools, right? You got your running backs, you got your wide receivers. Calvin Ridley is coming up this year. You didn't need to go draft another wide receiver. You didn't need to go sign another wide receiver in free agency. You already had Calvin Ridley. Yeah. And like you said, I look, he's a sneaky pick for me. We're going to talk fantasy, but that's one of the guys I'm eyeballing, right? Because his draft position is so fucking great at where he's at to be picked. So, absolutely, man. I agree with both of you guys. We will definitely got the Jags and everybody else just trying to play for second. So, yeah. So, guys, before we move on to the to the fantasy content, right? Jim's favorite. I have a question here to ask Jim because this is a hypothetical question, right? This is if your life depended on it kind of question, right? All right. If your life depended on a massage, you got 2 options. Who would you ask? Which guy? Who will you take guidance from? Robert Kraft or Deshaun Watson? Your life depends on it, brother. Who you had? The only 2 options you got. All right, it's a massage, bro. You got you to the right spot or where and whatever the case may be, bro. All right.
It's simple. If I go with Deshaun Watson, I got 26 plus fucking allegations on me, so I ain't going that route. I'm going Robert Kraft. And Robert Kraft's gonna flip the bill for it too. So I'm going for the works.
There we go. Hey, Robert Kraft, he knows the menu real well, right? So he probably, he's probably gone up and down the menu a couple of times in his favorite eatery, Rub and Tug Slap.
Oh, he definitely has. You could tell. That's why he always walks around with a smile on his face.
That dude is the man, bro. I mean, God,
he's the king of New England.
I mean, that guy, he can't do no wrong. Look what happened, bro. That's it. Slap. Nobody's talking about this shit. Everybody was talking about the Deshaun Watson. This guy's like, nah. Robert
Kraft. They talked about it for a week.
That's it.
And then he's like, "Are we done?" And Belichick's like, "Look, we're on to the next scandal in this league. We're done with this."
Yeah, exactly. Bill Gates, what's his name? Bill Belichick sent him a freaking video of something, right? Because he probably has videos of so much fucking tape that he's taken all his career, all the teams and shit. Before we move on to the next one, guys, let me just tell the audience about my sponsor, which is BetUS, where the game begins. Go check the link in the description and go ahead and you get up to it. If you click on that link and sign up, you're going to have 125% sign up bonuses. And here, let me play a little clip here for my sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
I've been to 56 straight home games.
I've tailgated 61 times.
I've been to 31 practices. I've collected 17 autographs.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've got one sports book.
I've got one sports book. I've got one sportsbook.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS and get a massive 125% bonus.
All right, we are back. Now, fellas, let's move on to some fantasy content over here, all right? So this is pretty, again, give it your best shot, right? What I'm looking for is based on this divisions, and it has to, give me who you think, right? And it could be one from each team if you want to. If there's nobody from the team that fits in these categories, your locks meaning that player that if you draft, he's going to be a must start week after week, right? You got your breakout player, the individual that, man, he's hadn't had that career, but this year it's going to be it. He's going to break out and be that, top 10, top 15 kind of player. Sleeper, the scrub that shit. He's all of a sudden this guy right here is going to give you some games and he's coming out of nowhere, right? And then of course your bust. Bust could be somebody that he had a good season last year, but he's going to be a bust this year. So again, you give me a player, one from each team, whatever the case may be. I'll give you my take in regards to that, or just throw names out there that you think, and just give me a reason why you think that. So, let's start with, of course, with North, with AFC North. All right, Dave, let's go. You're on board. Let's go first.
We start with the North.
Yeah, Jim. You hear me?
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, so.
Jim's the sleeper this year.
Yeah, I'm the sleeper this year. Obviously for the Steelers, my lock, I have to do it because I think now that they've beefed up this offensive line, Najee's going to have the breakout year that we all know he could have. Najee is a lock. Bookmark this episode. Do what you got to do. Najee, draft him. He's getting you at least 30 points a week. Take it or leave it. I'm just telling you that's what he's going to do. For the Bengals, it's going to be Jamar Chase, obviously. The Ravens, I'm going with Mark Andrews as the lock because that's always Lamar's go-to weapon when he has no other option. And Lamar can kind of just throw it anywhere, and Mark Andrews just suddenly appears. He'll disappear and then reappear like he's the friggin' Flash, and he's right there and he'll catch it. The Browns was kind of it's a real simple one. Nick Chubb.
Okay.
To me, Nick Chubb he's probably the only guy on the Browns that I could actually like as a player. That it would be hard not to pick him as a lock for the Browns.
Nick Chubb, the Steeler mold, that kind of player.
I would love him and Najee together, but that ain't never gonna happen.
Nick Chubb very quietly puts up phenomenal numbers.
Yeah. That's the best part.
Yeah.
He's not flashy. He reminds me of like an old school back where he just runs it down the throat.
That's exactly
and being in Georgia, I know people who know him and he how he is on the field where he's just very quiet, unassuming. Apparently that's just him. And I haven't spoken to these people in a minute, but that's just him as a person from what I hear. He's just a quiet, unassuming guy who just happens to be a football god. I guess no other way to put it.
Speak softly, carry a big stick, and his big stick is his freaking, running ability and down the middle. So, any sleepers, any breakout, or any? Give me some bust because I want to hear your bust. Give me some bust. Your bust is gonna be fucking entertaining. Give me the bust. The Steelers. Give me the bust from the other three teams. I'll give you a pass on the Steelers.
The biggest bust is going to be Cleveland's defense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I don't care that they went and got Zadarius Smith. He's going to wind up getting hurt at some point. Myles Garrett's going to get hurt at some point.
Okay.
Denzel Ward is decent in the secondary, but some of these guys he's going to have to go up against are just they're going to smoke him like a New York City rolled fucking blunt. That's just what's going to happen. I don't care what Browns fans think, say, drag me, at me on Twitter all you want. I don't care. Bust Browns defense because I just have to pick them. That's why.
Okay.
I don't think the Ravens really have a bust on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Bengals really don't either. So you really can't pick anybody from either of those two teams. I can pick one for the Steelers though.
Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead, give me a bust.
I'm curious if you have the same one.
I want to hear this.
It's going to be Darnell Washington because he's not going to be utilized as a tight end. He's going to be utilized as that sixth offensive lineman. That's all they drafted him for. They didn't draft him because he can catch. They drafted him because he's built like a friggin' tank and can just toss people around. And that's what they need on that offensive line to help with the run game and run two tight end sets and have him as the next offensive lineman. So
that makes sense.
Offensively, he's a bust.
Pickett did get sacked a lot last year and a shitload of concussions right next to Tua. So I mean, you got to protect that quarterback. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Before you move on, what do you think of Pickett? What do you think of Pickett this year?
Realistically, I think he's going to take a major step up. Not because we, the fan base, think he has to. It's because he needs to. If he wants to, I've said this before. Anybody who's going to replace Ben Roethlisberger has to replicate what Ben Roethlisberger has done. So to do that, granted, Pickett didn't go undefeated when he came off the bench to replace Trubisky. But if Pickett, now that they've got a beefier offensive line, they got Allen Robinson. Hopefully Deontay Johnson's one of the hardest working guys in the offseason. And to bash him for his drop passes when he had the least amount out of the top wide receivers in the league is, to me, a bit of unfair criticism. But if they can just all gel from week one on, Kenny Pickett has the highest ceiling of an improved year from last year.
To me, Pickett is better than the alternative. It's where I have him right now in my book. You know, I do like the toughness, though. He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. Definitely a tough kid. And you think Pickens is going to have, Pickens could be a breakout player in your division. I mean, apart from Najee. I think Najee is definitely a lock. I think Pickens can be a breakout player because I think his success is going to, to me, it's going to probably translate to the success of Kenny Pickett. Because Pickens is a guy. Yeah,
well, without a doubt. But the thing is, Matt Canada's got to call the right offensive plays that utilizes George Pickens. I mean, if I'm sitting there week one and I see 13 fucking jet sweeps, I'm starting to hashtag fire Canada right then and there. And everybody in the Steelers fan base is going to agree. I'm done with jet sweeps. Get Pickens the ball. This kid can catch anything thrown at him. We've seen it last year. You've seen glimpses of it. That guy's got dog written all over him. That he could friggin' catch anything you throw at him, and he plays with such an aggressive mentality right off the line. So he's got to know
how. Kind of like, you got to mastermind the bitch, right? In order to get Pickens involved here.
Yeah.
I agree with you on a lot of things. The one thing I don't agree with you on is I don't see, how do I put this? I think what they do and what this offense is, and part of the reason why Deontay Johnson got so much hate is because a lot of those catches or those drops came in crucial situations, which it is what it is. So that's why a lot of that heat came forward. I think you guys, if you're smart based on what y'all are trying to do, end up running a system similar to either what, the Gronk and Hernandez Patriots did, which, not getting into that. Run a system similar to that, or you run, you look at Arthur Smith's offensive play calls when he was in Tennessee, because you have a Derrick Henry type back with Najee. So if you're smart, you're going to run either an offense that's similar to, which Matt Canada's not. I say that as, I'm sitting in a chair in an apartment while he's probably sitting in his mansion getting ready for, practice tomorrow. He's smarter than me. But the thing with it is, like, it's running an offensive system like that where you rely heavily on the run game. You rely on those two tight end sets. And I agree with you on your Darnell Washington pick too. I knew you were going to pick the same guy as me. I knew it. You're going to get all these UGA fans drafting him. Oh, he's a great tight end. He's better than, Brock Bowers, but Brock Bowers the best tight end ever. Type like that. You're going to hear a lot of that, but he's not going to be used like Freiermuth is. He's going to be used as a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
He'll get maybe 2 targets a game, maybe 3.
If
It's not gonna be
that.
Yeah, it's not going to be that much, especially right out the gate.
Awesome, man. See, Jim, bro, you didn't do bad with giving me some locks and stuff like that, man. Come on, man. It's fantasy football. People forget that they get caught up on the fucking points, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's still statistics, right? You still got to play it. You translate it into sheet, man. You know what I mean? So, Gary, come on, man. Give me your takes on here, man. Locks, sleepers, breakthrough, bust, whatever you have.
So I've got
only thing north. Then we'll move to the south.
I gotcha. For the North, for me, so locks from each team for me. Bengals, if Burrow's healthy, it's Joey B. I mean, there's no other way around it. Dude, he's behind Mahomes only in every category. And now with these wide receiver threats, it's going to be ridiculous. So if he's healthy, it's Burrow. If it's not Burrow, probably Jamar Chase, but that's about it. Mixon is too much feast or famine for me, so I'm not. But he's not my bust. We'll get into that in a minute. For the Ravens, it's actually going to be Zay Flowers. And this is the one I might catch some heat for, just because everything I'm seeing in camp, everything we saw leading up to the draft, everything, it looks like he's poised to be what Hollywood Brown was supposed to be.
You're locking him, right? He's your lock?
I'm locking him. He's my lock for the Ravens. Okay. Pittsburgh, it's Najee. There's no way around it. And for Cleveland, it's Chubb. Okay. So, I mean, those guys are absolutely going to dominate. Sleepers for me, Irv Smith for Cincinnati. He's going to take over that tight end 1 role. So I think he's going to sneakily put up some points, and everybody's going to be too focused on who's the dude from Pitt, their wide receiver, Boyd. They're going to be focused on Boyd. They're going to be focused on Jamar. They're going to be focused on Higgins. They're going to be focused on Mixon. No one's going to look at the tight end when tight ends in Cincinnati put up not top 10 numbers, but they're sneaky point producers in Cincinnati. Ravens, my sleeper is going to be Gus Edwards because there's no way in hell J.K. Dobbins makes it through a whole season.
No.
Nope.
So it's Gus Edwards.
Probably Gus either, so it doesn't matter. You might.
Well, we start with Gus. I would think Pittsburgh is going to be Kenny Pickett. I think if Matt Canada can find a way to use him, he'll be great. Maybe not great, but he'll be a good quarterback. And then for Cleveland, it's Jerome Ford, just because Kareem Hunt's gone and someone needs to take over that Kareem Hunt role. And he could fill those shoes there. For bust, it's going to be Charlie Jones, who's the rookie the Bengals took out of Purdue.
Okay.
Because how the hell is he going to get playing time? Behind Higgins, Boyd, and Chase? There's no way. He's going to be a bust. Which, I mean, he's a rookie. You don't expect him to play right out the gate. And he's an insurance policy. You bring him up slowly. I get that. But, don't draft him. He's not playing. So, for the Ravens, it's OBJ. Because I don't – no, it's OBJ, which I think that's where you had him for your bust too, which is why you said you were going to mention OBJ earlier. Yeah, it was not going to be on locks, sleepers, or breakouts.
No, I'm looking for the OBJ over/under games right now. I don't know if it's out yet to bet for the season. I could hit that. I think I might be able to definitely get the under.
Oh, for sure. For Pittsburgh bust, it's Darnell Washington because, again, we talked about it. He's not going to be used like a tight end 1, and he's not tight end 1. He's tight end 2 or 3, and he's not going to be used as a pass-catching tight end. Even though he can do it, he's not going to be used like that. And then my bust for Cleveland is Watson.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people are going to draft him too high. He's got Amari Cooper. He's got Nick Chubb. And he's got nobody else. There's nobody else. I could have gone Donovan Peoples-Jones. I could have gone David Njoku. I don't care. I think it's because those are easy.
No,
those
think
are
about
easy.
It, right? A bust of so Deshaun is in a high caliber, right? So not being almost Deshaun Watson's status like he was before that production, that's a bust.
That's a bust. And the reason why I don't go Njoku, the reason why I'm not going Njoku or Peoples-Jones is because Peoples-Jones will have maybe 3 good games a year, and Njoku for some reason is the most respected tight end that's done absolutely nothing his entire career. He hasn't done anything.
The UM guy, bro. I love tight ends in UM.
Well, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's such a great tight end." I'm like, but he hasn't done anything. Charlie Whitehurst was a great backup quarterback. He'd have to do anything.
Charlie
Clipboard
Whitehurst.
Jesus.
God.
But no, those are my lock for breakouts. I think breakouts and locks can also be the same thing for the Ravens. It's going to be Zay Flowers as the breakout.
Yeah.
Unless Lamar plays a whole season, and then I guess it's more of a comeback type thing.
Yeah.
For Pittsburgh, breakout's probably going to be Pickens because I feel like he'll be used right this year. For the Bengals,
That's a tough one.
Probably Irv Smith again because I think he's going to be a breakout because he's been in the league for a little bit, but I mean he's also going to be a sleeper. I think the Bengals are that's the best bet because Mixon isn't a breakout player. Mixon has he's good for 7-8 good games a year. Burrow is not a breakout. Jamar Chase is not a breakout. Higgins is not a breakout. Boyd is not a breakout. And it's not going to be their defense. It's not going to be their O-line. So it's got to be their tight end. As for Cleveland, I can't think of anybody.
There's such a thing that if you don't think of anybody, you don't have to mention anybody. For
I know. I don't know any Cleveland. I don't know any people.
Right? It's a day. In your application. So there's usually there's such a thing in football and fantasy football as well.
C's get degrees, man. C's get degrees.
Got it, brother. I fucking just before we move on to the South here, the AFC South. I'm just giving my take. Definitely, I'm gonna start with the Bengals, right? To me, healthy, Joey Burrows is your lock, right? Now, here's where I think their bust is going to be, and I'm comparing it on where he's got to get drafted because he's like number 30 wide receiver, number 25. It's Higgins. Higgins slowed down last year, and he's very dependent on Jamar Chase not being there. And he didn't have that great of a season that he had the year before, and towards the end of the season, man, he slowed down a lot. So I think Higgins. And when I mean bust, he's going to have a decent season compared to other wide receivers. I don't think he's going to have as good season as he had a couple of years ago, even so much as he started last year. So I think he's going to be my bust. He's going to surprise some people. Believe it or not, my breakout, because he is going to be used a lot. And I think with Samaje Perine being out, being gone, he's also going to get used a lot in the passing game. I think Mixon has an opportunity to get a lot of touches, man. Not just carries, but I think he's going to get a lot of receptions. He's going to be used a lot in this offense. So, I'm throwing him as my breakout for that team. And, like you said, Jamar Chase can be put as a lock as well there. You know what I mean? So, look, in your case, a sleeper in that team, I'm going to go with Irv Smith. He hasn't lived up to the potential. He's kind of another Njoku. Man, this guy has all the tools, right? The guy's athletic and run. He hasn't lived up to that, potential yet. He's his third year in the league, I think. Is that what we're at?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so last year fantasy football was high on him, and he fucking let everybody down. So that's where I'm at with the Bengals. The Ravens, I'm gonna, quarterback wise, I gotta go with Lamar, man. I think Lamar, he's getting paid. He's one of those guys, knowing a little bit about him from, the local fan base down here in South Florida. I think he's gonna come back, and he has something to prove because that's the kind of kid he is. He's very competitive. He's one of those guys with a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's definitely a lock on that team. OBJ bust, forget about it, man. I don't even have to go into details with that. He's lucky he got traded, with the freaking Rams, who signed a deal with the devil most likely, and gave up their firstborn to win the Super Bowl with all the and all that shit they mortgaged. So pretty much, man. OBJ is a complete fucking bust. Breakout wise, from there, I like sleeper Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is going to be, because everybody is thinking he's third fiddle, right? OBJ, Bateman, and then freaking Zay Flowers, right? And then maybe Mark Andrews, OBJ, Bateman, and Zay Flowers he's got to get the crumb. That dude there's going to be some injuries there with OBJ and Bateman as well, because he hasn't proven to be on the field as often, right? His availability has been the first 2 seasons, and that's what Zay Flowers, I think, it's gonna benefit. He's gonna be getting a lot of targets because they're gonna have no choice. But I think the kid he's capable. Like you said, he was a great player in college. Him. I think he's gonna be a sleeper that's gonna have that kind of a really good rookie season. He's gonna come up with a lot of people that don't expect it.
Another one could be Isaiah Likely.
Absolutely. You know what? That's right. Isaiah Likely played really, really well last year. All right.
In limited touches, he played in limited games. He played very, very well.
Absolutely. He's like a Mark Andrews, right? Just more athletic. He could block.
He was a Jaguars player. We let him go.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. Sorry, that was Josh Oliver. My bad.
Okay.
Another Ravens tight end.
They love to block, man. So Browns, man, for sure. Deshaun's my bust. My lock is definitely Chubb. And sleeper in that team, dude. Sleeper will break out. It all depends. I think Amari Cooper can have the possibility to, maybe crack 1,000 yards this year receiving. I mean, we'll see because he could get 1,000 yards with Deshaun Watson having a subpar year because he's that kind of player, right? He's still a heck of a receiver. And you notice what Dak went through last year without having Amari Cooper there. You know what I mean? I know CeeDee Lamb is and but Gallup, did not come back the way he's supposed to. That was just an investment that did not work out well for them. And we'll see with Brandon Cook. So you can see what a difference maker he is. He was with the Dallas, and I think he's going to be actually a help for Deshaun Watson anyway. So I think he might be my sleeper / breakout for that team. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, Jim, absolutely. Najee Harris is gonna tell everybody. He's gonna tell everybody. He's gonna come back and prove everybody that last year was just a complete dumpster fire because of the play calling, bad offensive line, everything just at the same effing time, right? And look, he came on really, really hot at the end of the year. That was same Najee from his rookie season. I think Najee is gonna have a great year, one more year. With Pickett, who played about 8 games last year or something like that. So I think I see a lot of that. Let me tell you something. I think Pickens, it might be this breakout for me. I think it's going to be, and I hate to call it a breakout because last year, it was just a dumpster fire. But I think Deontay Johnson is gonna go ahead and have that. He's gonna lead the league in freaking in targets, man. He's gonna get targeted. He gets targeted a lot. He's gonna lead the league in targets again. And probably in reception. And he's going to have more than no touchdowns at all. So I think he's a guy that's just such a workhorse. And he's a guy that he's a security blanket. He could do so many things. He could go deep. He could go into slot. He could go short. I mean, he's going to be that sleeper breakout because he has such and I hate calling it, like you said, a bad season last year, but just because of the fact of no touchdowns at all. But the guy was just, he was getting double team. I mean, he was the number one receiver in your team who was getting the most attention. So I think that's my sleeper / breakout, so. I'll put him on my breakout and Pickens on my sleeper. Let's go that route.
The only reason why I don't think Deontay Johnson is going to lead the league in targets is because Kirk Cousins has no one to throw to besides Addison and, Justin Jefferson. So I think Jefferson will lead. Jefferson will lead in targets. Deontay will be top 5 for sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good.
He'll be top 5. I can't give you a target later because Kirk only throws to. Part of the reason why he had so many drops last year is because Kirk throws to him in, 11-man coverage.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I could definitely agree with that.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So, definitely I could agree with you on that one. So, oh, man. All right, fellas. So, Garrett, with that, I'm going to let you lead off the AFC South, my brother. Go ahead and give me some love here on who you got. Man. Tell our audience who we got.
So for locks, I gotta say, for the Jaguars, I'm gonna go probably. I don't want to say. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Calvin for locks. Calvin Ridley's gonna absolutely be wide receiver 1. He's already the best receiver on the team. That's not a shot at Kirk or Zay. He's just gonna ball out. If he could ball out with an aging Matt Ryan, he could ball out with a young Trevor Lawrence. For the Colts, my lock is Taylor if he's healthy. Honestly, outside of that, it's all running backs. Texans is Pierce, Titans is Henry. I mean, if Henry is not your lock for the AFC South for the Titans, I don't know what to tell you.
No, exactly.
I think we all agree on that one.
You'll see people saying it's going to be Hopkins, and it's not. If you don't go Henry, which is my lock as well, then don't play fantasy, man. And I haven't played fantasy in 10 years, and I'm fucking telling you, Derrick Henry is a lock because he carries the whole friggin' offense. He can do it all. He's a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, offensive lineman. Hell, just fucking clone Derrick Henry and just have a whole bunch of Derrick Henrys on the field. Good. South Tennessee's problem.
Shit. If you got 2 Derrick Henrys on the field, you don't need Ryan Tannehill to throw the fucking ball. Man.
Exactly.
Right? I could hand it over all game long.
If Derrick Henry is not your lock for the Titans, I have a spot in my fantasy leagues for you. And this one will be pay to play. Just for you though, because I'll take your money. But that's it for all my locks. For breakouts, I think Trevor Lawrence has a ridiculous year. I think the amount of disrespect that's been around Trevor Lawrence this offseason is absurd, and I'm tired of it. It's like, to the point where even who's the idiot on Good Morning Football? Kyle Brandt. And Trevor Lawrence never tweets. He never goes on social media. Really, he never really tweets or anything. And he literally added Kyle Brandt in Good Morning Football and said games not played on paper.
He's not wrong.
No, this is the Duval Till We Die, Fuck 'em All tour featuring Trevor Lawrence and the rest of the Jaguars team. We got McManus at kicker now. Like we're going to be hitting 60-yard bombs, like we're kicking field goals from the 50. We're going to be fine. So I think sleeper or breakout years Trevor Lawrence without a doubt. I mean, how do you not do well with this offense at this point?
They're a year or two, so and with more weapons. So
and with this chip on your shoulder now, because you had a great year last year, you showed what you can be, and everybody still thinks you're garbage. Sorry, NFL Top 100. I apologize, but Justin Fields, who I love and think is going to absolutely be one of the breakout players this year. You have Justin Fields ahead of Trevor Lawrence as top players. Like I don't know who they asked, but no. So I don't know. That's it for me on breakouts for the Jags. Breakouts for the Texans, I think.
I'm curious on this one. I'm really curious.
I know who my sleeper is. Mechie.
Okay.
Mechie will be my breakout. Mechie will be my breakout because Mechie is apparently cancer-free, which happy for the guy. Yes. He was a stud in college. He'll be great. So Mechie for me is definitely my breakout player. He's also he's going to be my sleeper player too. Just as I think Mechie's just going to be that guy. I think his ADP is next to nothing, but I think it's going to be a lot higher now that he's about to play. Hopefully. As for breakouts for the Colts, I think Alec Pierce.
Oh, guys, keep going.
Yeah, do you think? So I think Alec Pierce is a breakout player for the Colts. And then for the Titans, I don't know if we have a breakout player. I don't have a breakout player for the Titans. I don't see it. I just because it's not going to be Tannehill. It's not going to be Willis. It's not going to be it's not going to be Willis. It's not going to be any of those guys. So for me, I don't really see a breakout player for the Titans.
Well, it's definitely not going to be Mayo in the coffee. Will Levis, that's for sure.
Full banana eating with the peel on. I can't throw a pass more than 20 yards. Only time I threw for 300 yards was against nobody teams. Every game he had last year that was over 300 yards, I think the toughest team he played with for 300 yards was NIU.
Yeah.
That's it. So, I mean, this is not a trash Will Levis thing.
They drafted
this is not what we're talking about.
They've done the same shit here for 2 years. You just wasted 2 picks and on the same kind of caliber player, just different type of play style, right? So, what the fuck, man? I mean, they did the same shit for 3 years.
This is why I've been telling people that the Titans are rebuilding, because not only did you take a quarterback last year, you took a quarterback this year.
And you're already giving up on the quarterback from last year on such a small sample size because I don't think Rabel and company know what the hell they're doing in Tennessee. So
no, I have one breakout player for the Titans. Actually, I do. It's going to be Treylon Burks.
Yeah, that was
because D Hop is going to get covered like crazy. For busts, for me, for sleepers, let's do sleepers. For the Jaguars, it's Tank Bigsby. He's going to get a lot of the goal line touches. I think he's going to be that. He's going to be Jamal Williams type player. Mm-hmm. I think he's just going to be he's your goal line vulture. He's going to take all he's either going to put up 30 points or he's going to put up 3. Like that's just how it is. For the Colts, it's Josh Downs. I think him and Richardson already have a good connection. Richardson's going to be starting by the midpoint of the season, and I think if not week 1, and I think Downs is going to be his favorite go-to target. Again, sleeper for the Texans, it's Mechie. I think Mechie's going to have a great year. For the Titans, my sleeper is their defense.
Okay.
Because when healthy, Titans last year had one of the top run defenses in the league, but they had the worst pass defense in the league. So if that pass defense can stay healthy, the Titans defense can be very good. So that's the only praise I'll ever give them. And Derrick Henry.
that defense is really good. It's actually
The defense is
ranked
good.
one of the top defenses in fantasy football for this year. So
Yeah, the defense is solid. Bust players for me, Jaguars. It's Zay Jones. I think he loses a lot of touches now that Kirk and you have Kirk, you have Calvin, you have Ingram, you've got Parker Washington, who we drafted, who I think is going to slowly become more and more involved as the year goes on. For the Colts, it's Pittman Jr. I just don't think he's that.
No.
He's good, but he's not a wide receiver one. The Colts are a team of wide receiver twos, and that's just how it is. For the Texans, it's Robert Woods, just because you either have Davis the Neck Mills throwing at you, or you have the young unproven QB CJ Stroud. Like it's which Davis Mills I think also tied for Dak with interceptions in the league. So he was up. If he wasn't tied for first, he was second or third place. And then for the Titans, it's either Tannehill or it's going to be D-Hop.
Okay.
Just because he's mid. He's like Kirk Cousins' cousin. Like that. He's Kirk Cousins' cousin who doesn't know what he's doing. He's his crazy cousin. So I'm out. Like it's Tannehill or D-Hop. And I mean D-Hop will have a solid year just based purely on who he is as a player. But Tannehill will not have the year that a lot of these players, oh, he's a great quarterback. Like, no, he's not. The only way Tannehill's on my team is with a favorable matchup, and there's no one else available.
Well, he's a good game manager. That's all. You know what I mean? And he
and
fell
they
into
don't do good fantasy numbers.
One of the greatest running backs of all time, a really good offensive line, and a hell of a defense, which he didn't have any of those in Miami. So,
No, their offensive line is suspect at best right now. Their offensive line is not very good. That was actually one of their biggest issues last year was offensive line issues, which is why –
when he first came in. Yeah, when he first got traded. That's the reason why he got fucking fired.
Oh, yeah, and now he's getting hurt. They drafted the kid out of Northwestern, which I'm not going to touch that dumpster fire. They drafted the kid from Northwestern. They signed people in free agency. They know where their holes are, and they tried to fix it. I don't see it. I think Derrick Henry just drags them to the finish line. But that's my my locks, my breakouts, my sleepers, and my bust for the AFC South.
Good deal. All right, Jim, come on, man. Give your best shot, man. Your best shot.
All right. Obviously, I'm gonna go with obviously for the Jags. My lock is obviously Trevor Lawrence. Mitch from Dazed and Confused twin brother. Obviously, I got to go with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, now that you have Doug Peterson, you have the offensive weapons around you. The ceiling for him only gets higher. Right. My sleeper pick is actually Calvin Ridley. Only because it's going to be a full season where he's actually healthy after the dumb suspension he had to go through.
Me started.
Bro, they got to change that rule.
That honestly, I think he's a sleeper and the breakout for me. I think he's going to have one of the biggest years he's had fully healthy, especially again, he obviously did his thing with Matt Ryan. With Trevor Lawrence, it's only that much higher. As far as a bust for the Jaguars, I have to agree with Garrett. I think it's Zay Jones. Zay Jones, the video I saw, just route running alone, he looks like he lost a step. And Calvin Ridley looks like he gained about 100 steps. So Zay Jones is the bust.
Calvin Ridley's still in his rookie contract, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
He didn't play a year. He didn't get paid. So I think he's getting paid like $10 million or something like that, right?
He's not making a lot. Calvin Ridley for our offense is going to be Lebowski's rug because it really ties the room together.
Yep. He is the guy, right? So he's your alpha, right? He's your
absolutely.
He's your DK Metcalf, right? He's your DeAndre Hopkins with Houston back in the day. You know what I mean?
He's our Julio. He's our Andre.
He's the guy that you can give him 12 targets. He's your 50-50 ball guy. You know what I mean? That's where when you have those type, you're Jefferson, you're Devontae Adams, right? He's that guy.
He's a dog.
You know,
the video Jim's talking about, if y'all haven't seen it yet, it's basically again it's those muscle memory routes where it's a 10-yard end, and you see Zay run it, and he looks a little slow. He's still faster than I could ever run it, and I was a wide receiver in high school. There's a reason why I don't play it anymore, because I was starting left bench. But I'll call myself out. I've been taking shots at everybody else. Let's take a shot at myself. So it's you can see it. He had everything looked great, but then Calvin comes and runs the route and does it, and 2/3 of the time.
Yeah, easy.
He's just different, and that's not a shot at big play Zay over here, but I mean he's just different. Like Calvin's that dude. There's some people who make it, and there's some players who are good. They're route technicians, they're possession guys, they're great, but then some guys just do it all.
And that's what Ridley's going to do.
Yep. Agent zero.
The good thing is Jose's got to get his on the
Of course.
broken plays and those. Hey, we just hit Zay on a fucking 40-yard bomb, right? Because the defense is completely screwed up with Ridley and and DJ and Kirk and whatchamacallit Ingram. It's gonna be one of those things. He's got to get his. He's just not going to be the guy that I think last year. The role that he had last year was much bigger.
Thank you for not learning how to you Evan Ingram. By the way, I appreciate that as a Jaguars fan.
Fuck Evan Ingram, all right? Fucking Butterfinger. He couldn't catch shit for us because he dropped everything and the man can't block to save his life. Get it? I know we had a freaking dumpster fire of coaching carousel, and I get it. We drafted him for that because we knew like that dude can.
You know what he is. So. I had to take one shot.
I know. I had to take one. Waiting for it. I had the Butterfingers line in my head already, just ready to go, man. Fucking guy, man. He dropped everything with us. But hey, look, we drafted him for what he's doing for you guys. So I'm glad, we drafted
I'll take
him.
it. All right, Jim. Sorry to catch you up. Do you think, man?
It's all good. That's what it's about, shooting the shit and everybody's opinions. And yeah, Ingram couldn't catch shit in New York. He couldn't even catch COVID if he tried. But that's my shot. For the Colts,
Sanchez still don't catch COVID. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. The Colts, I think obviously the lock and breakout is going to be Jonathan Taylor, assuming he's healthy. The bust, honestly, I got to agree that there's going to be Pittman Jr. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's a 2 or 3 at best. Especially with all the other weapons they have around, I don't think he'll be featured as much as maybe he should be. But then again, who knows? We're just making predictions. These aren't spoilers or anything. So any Colts fan that's upset that I'm saying he's going to be a bust, you know where to find me on Twitter. It's not that hard. You can voice your displeasures. I could care less.
Scroll across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, exactly. For the, I'm going to leave the Titans for last, so I'll go to the Texans. I think Stroud is the lock and breakout because there's no way that Jeffrey the Giraffe Mills is starting. There is no way. You could go through another season of you drafted Stroud too for a reason. This is the guy who's going to take that team to where it needs to be. It's not Jeffrey the Giraffe. It's CJ Stroud. So he's the lock and the breakout. My sleeper is Metsy, only because he hasn't played yet. And even though he was great in college, we don't know what he's going to be on the NFL level. But he's the sleeper. And then the bust for me, I think their defense, even though Ryans is a defensive coach, I think their defense takes a step back, only because it's still got to acclimate and gel. That I think you have a down year with the defense, but going into a second year under D'Amico Ryans, I think it'll improve. But for this year, that's the bust.
I'm shocked you didn't pick Dameon Pierce as your lock, because even with Jeffrey the Giraffe, he put up almost 1,000 yards of total offense.
Yeah, but can you rely on that all year?
With
that's
Davis
the thing. If Giraffe Neck, who a turtleneck looks like a regular sweater on him, is the quarterback, then yes, Pierce would be the lock. But I'm going into this with Stroud being quarterback number 1 and Mills is holding the clipboard like Mason's going to in Pittsburgh. All right, so
Mr. Whack-a-Mole himself.
Oh my God, yeah, Mister. I still don't get why you still have 3 fucking quarterbacks. I mean, it's insane.
Well, because Trubisky ain't it, and you can't.
I don't need the brunette version of Zach Morris on this team. I just don't fucking need it. The guy has proved nothing in all his time in Pittsburgh. He's just utter trash. Cut ties with him.
He got a nice
I love seeing all the.
He has a nice swing, though. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm sorry,
he could take a hit. He could certainly take a hit. He could take a hit. I love, speaking of Mormon Mason Rudolph. I love seeing all of Jets Twitter hype up Zach Wilson. When Rodgers is gone, he's going to be great. I'm like, no, he's not. He was crap before. He's going to be crap now.
Yep. But then getting into the Titans, if you're not picking Derrick Henry as your lock, you're an idiot. Don't play fantasy. Don't watch football. Don't even play Madden.
Dude, play fantasy. Play in my league. You don't know what you're doing.
I'll start one of those leagues. I'll take people's money. I ain't got no issue with that. I think breakout only because teams are going to double team Hopkins. It'll leave Burks open to be that breakout guy. Sleeper is going to be Burks as well. But the bust is none other than Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. The dude is just trash. He's trash. He walked ass backwards into a quarterback position in Tennessee where he only looks good because of Derrick Henry. Because he's that game manager type guy.
Failed wide receiver Ryan Tannehill. Let's call him what he is.
Yeah, hey, look, believe it or not, give him credit. He's earned some good fucking points for somebody that, took the position over or not, later on in his career. So that part I give him credit. And he took the Titans probably further.
He got the bag for being better than Jake Locker.
That's true.
And Marcus Mariota, which do with that what you will.
Marcus Mariota is now back up Philly, so it is what it is. Hey, good job there, Jim. See, man, you underestimated yourself when it came to I'm gonna play fantasy football. You got those are some really good locks, good breakouts, right, Jared? I mean,
that's what Jim is the sleeper. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, good, baby.
Damn!
So I agree with a lot of what you guys say, and I'm going to kind of run like I did before on some of these. And I'm going to start with the Houston Texans. Let me start from the bottom to the top here. Again, my lock is Dameon Pierce for sure. I think this kid is going to have a monster year if healthy. He proved last year on the before he got hurt that he's an all-purpose back, a three-down back. He could do it all, man, pretty much. My sleeper, and you guys didn't mention him, but I think he's going to have a good year. It's all dependent on the quarterback, of course. Nico Collins. All right, Nico Collins.
Sleeper last year.
Yeah, well, you know what? Brandon Cook's not there anymore, so Menchie's back and he's healthy, but I think Nico is your number one receiver right now. So I think that's my sleeper or slash breakout. You could say that because you could honestly say that if CJ Stroud starts and he has a decent year, you could say 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he rushes for 5 more. That could be a sleeper or a breakout performer as well. That's gonna be tough. That's a really bad offensive line. But that's where I'm at right there. I think Nico, it's going to have finally his breakout years. Brandon Cooks is no longer around. He is the guy right now. At wide receiver, he's the guy with the big balls, man. It's his job to lose the targets. He's number one target. Going to I'm not going to pick a bust from that team because they already have enough busts for their life, so I don't think it's fair. But moving on to the Titans, the Tennessee Titans, of course, man. Yeah, you got to be smoking crack if you're not following you're not taking Derrick Henry. That's the bottom line, dude. He's your stud. He's your lock. Bust for sure. I think Ryan Tannehill has shown you everything he can. Look, he's probably a really, really good game manager, but 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions or 10 interceptions is not going to cut it. I know that defense keeps them in games, but I think this year Tannehill is either going to go out on an injury and they're going to have to be forced to use Will Levis, just like last year, more than they did Malik Willis and what was the other guy, Joshua Dobbs?
Josh Dobbs. Ryan over the hill is what he is right now.
Oh my gosh, it was such a. Watching that was like watching paint dry in the summer day. So
hey, I'll take it.
Yeah,
he fumbled the ball and threw a fantastic interception.
Yeah,
I loved it. That was a fumble, Titans fans. Come at me. I don't care. That was a fumble. The ball was out. The arm back here, and then the ball coming out before this motion happens is a fumble. Just how it works. Just what a fumble is.
Don't tell that to Tom Brady.
No, I loved how he actually said, like, oh, yeah, we got the it might have been a fumble.
Yeah, it only took him like 20 years later. Yeah, it took him 20 Took him 20 years later on what fucking TikTok to admit what we known for 20 years.
I don't care. It don't matter to me. I don't know what.
NFL makes up the rules as they go along.
Exactly. I think we lost. I think we lost him.
Well, I guess it's the.
Sorry, fellas, I hit the back button by accident there. I mean, I was trying to like toggle through my internet here. So
hey, he's back. There he is. We just kept rolling. We're like, all right, I guess it's us now.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. I freaking hit the back button by accident there. So over here, look, I've got to go to the next point here. Where the hell did I leave off anyway? Though I was talking about Tennessee. Is that what it was? So
yeah,
pretty much, man. Look, shit. Look, Tennessee. Derrick Henry, you're smoking crack if you're not picking him. I think we're gonna have a breakout from them. I think definitely I'm gonna give it to DeAndre Hopkins because he might, if he's healthy and plays a full season, he's gonna have a better year than last year. He's just one of those guys that look. Yeah, Colt McCoy last year he still had some good games with whatever bullshit he had thrown to him. And I think he's gonna come back.
Throwing to him now.
Yeah,
Colt McCoy throwing to him now. That's what Tannehill is.
Technically. Hey, Red Savage, thanks for joining on. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much, man. Bust for sure. Ryan Tannehill. So I think that's where I left off. So it is what it is with Ryan. You hit your ceiling with Ryan. You're not gonna get more than what he had from last year, and I think that's pretty much that's the bottom line. Next, where are we at? Let's go to the Jacksonville Jags. Look, Trevor Lawrence for sure. You're locked. Breakout because he didn't play last year is gonna be Calvin Ridley. Sleeper, man. So this is a good one because I'm not too familiar with him, but you can't say Travis Etienne because he's your starter. I mean, and he had a good season last year. I think Travis may be borderline on the bus wagon, right? Because I think everybody saw what he could do. I don't know, man. I just don't trust a back that is dependent on just big plays. You know what I mean? If you noticed last year, not great yards per carriage, right? But he's one of those guys that when he breaks out, right, he was either a dump down that he took for like 50 yards for a touchdown. That's where his fantasy value came up. I mean, he wasn't getting you 25 touches and carries and 150 yards rushing. You know what I mean? He would get you close to, but it was big plays. He's dependent on big plays. So that's where I have a borderline. I think he might be a bust on that team for that safety. Like I said, I don't want to take Zay Flowers because Zay Flowers wasn't really a breakout or a sleeper before. You know what I mean? He was just a guy that fit the mold. He's like Sky Moore, right? You need those type of players that can run certain plays that is going to help the other big names in that team. So breakout, man. You can't say Evan Ingram because he was the breakout player last year.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Which I guess sleeper. I like that rookie you guys have, man. That running back. I think he's gonna get a lot of goals in play, and he's gonna, and that's why I think he's gonna steal some of the scoring opportunities.
That's why he's a goal line vulture. That's what he's gonna be. He's gonna take all the goal line touches. But he's just bigger than ETN.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if I think about it, less wear and tear. And when you take ATN's season and what you saw from him, I'm not saying he's a bad back. I mean, shit. I mean, he's better than what you had before, and you got a great
easy. I love James. James.
I know. Listen, James wasn't supposed to be that guy as good as you thought you were going to be. You got a nice return on your investment, right? By the way, we got him in the Giants. I hope he gives us some of those 2020 numbers.
I hope he does too. I love James. James. James Robinson. I know you're not listening, but you are easily one of my favorite running backs in this league, dude. It's the story's great, the player's great. I love the game. I hate the raw deal he got.
He did, man. He got messed up.
Yeah.
You drafted a running back. I mean,
who you telling?
Who you telling? I am being hopeful. That he's gonna have. Look, I want him to be that guy that can take. He's such a great receiving back as well. Right, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The dude can get you 5 receptions and 50 yards and a touchdown any given Sunday, right? And another 45, 60 running as well because he has that breakaway ability. But I'm hoping that he's back a little bit, shades of that 2020, right? It was a really good season for him. Let me see here I think that's it pretty much. And honestly, another decent lock. Your defense is going to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine.
I think that's a breakout defense.
One of our biggest issues on defense was in the slot because if playoff Chad Henne can drive the ball down the field and score on us that was our biggest issue, and we drafted the kid out of Texas A&M to cover that. So I think we in the draft we fixed, I'd say 95% of our issues.
No, you guys drafted to plug the holes that you had. I mean, your freaking quarterback was the biggest hole that a team has. You don't have that problem. Like you said, Calvin Ridley is playing this year. You plugged a lot of holes this year. You got another running back, right? You got, like you said, you worked on your line, you worked on the defense, so that's really good. With the Colts, of course, they live and die by Jonathan Taylor, man. He's another Derrick Henry. So I agree with both of you on Pittman. He is not an alpha. I think he's been overhyped throughout his whole career. I'm not saying the guy's a scrub. The guy's in a good offense as the second guy. Hey, look, he could be the Adam Thielen. You know what I'm saying? In a team like that. But he's not your number one. He's not your number one. And unfortunately, when you have a carousel of quarterbacks, I mean, you go from like wash-up guys and Matt Ryan. What was the guy before from Philadelphia?
Rivers. Yeah, Rivers, Foles.
Oh yeah, Foles. Yeah, no, who's the other guy, man? Didn't they have also the one who lost the job, Jalen Hurts? I can't think of that.
Carson Wentz.
So this is the quarterback you had throwing to this kid, and that's the defense everybody has on. Right? Play with shitty quarterback. No, I don't think if you put a good quarterback, and he's number one guy, he's not going to be the number one. He's not going to put a number one number. So I think he's
be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he's my.
But he is.
Yeah, he is. He's my bust. He's my bust for sure there. Man, sleeper in this team, man. I don't. You know what, man? Hey, I'm gonna go crazy here. Alec Pierce. With a limited amount of chances he had last year. Because Paris Campbell is not there anymore. He's with us, by the way.
Nope.
So
I know.
I think Alex has got a benefit of those open looks, right, and not a lot of attention, like Paris Campbell did last year. So, but again, it all lives and dies with who's going to be a quarterback. I don't think Richardson is ready to be that guy. I mean, shit. Richardson is going to play, but Richardson will make things happen. Not so much with his arm because he's going to struggle with his accuracy, right? Speed of the game is going to be different. But he's going to be the guy like Justin Field did in his first couple of years. He could run, right? He can make exciting plays. He's a playmaker like Lamar Jackson. I think that offensive line puts up in that defense, and you get that from him, you might have a 8 and 9 like that. But on Richardson, and I don't think they can say he's not going to start, right? They haven't said that he's going to be the start. They haven't even announced it yet.
But also, their other quarterback is Minshew, so it's which I love Gardner, but it's Minshew's not a season starter. So.
Minshew is Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, great British quarterback, right? You know what I mean? Hey, if you want to start 5 or 6 games, let your guy, let your guy that you're building the team around get comfortable. Minshew is that kind of guy. He's the kind of guy. He's a gunslinger mentality. If your quarterback gets hurt, he'll give you 2-3 games, right? Fitzpatrick. Yeah, remember Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's your bridge quarterback. He's a gap filler for the meantime. And I think, you're right. He probably starts 3. I mean, don't get me wrong. Richardson will probably start at one point in the season, 4, 5, 6 games, whatever the case may be. So
he starts by week 4.
Yeah. That's just really the back.
If the Colts start 0-3, they're going to Richardson.
They'll start 0-3 because they have. I think they play us first.
Oh yeah.
So they're starting 0-1 for sure. Also, I hope you didn't pay Paris Campbell like you paid Kenny Golladay.
I don't think we did, Mo. Not at all. No, he came in cheap. Kenny Golladay.
There was another shot there.
Oh my god! Kenny Golladay get picked up? Can he get picked up?
I have no idea. Hands are ready to eat for everybody, man.
I mean, I don't think he's played with a team. He was the last dumbass to give him $56 million.
No, it's which I mean, look. I'm talking a lot of shit for someone who paid Nick Foles $67 million. So can't really, we all make mistakes.
Yeah. No, since Eli Manning, bro, held the team. We actually have some consistency with Coughlin there. We've been the joking, we've been like the laughing stock, one of the laughing stocks of the league as a Giants fan, bro. It sucks when you're beating
Cowboys.
Bro, when you're beating Tom Brady, twice in the Super Bowl. Nobody can say they've done that, all right? even if it was only 2 Super Bowls within a span of 4 or 5 years, that's a really good feat. And all of a sudden you're going complete high, complete go away mode and disappear.
We should have beaten him in the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
we should have. We absolutely should have. And I'm not mad. The only play I'm not mad about during that, which I could be on this pedestal all day.
Yeah.
Miles Jack wasn't down. Hell of a play by Stephon Gilmore to break up that pass, and we'll leave it at that.
I get it. Hey, look, it's all good. It's all good. Well, look. With that being said, overall, I think your respective teams. Give me 3 wild predictions from each of your squads. I'll start with you, Jim, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me 3 wild things out of the top of the head there that you think it's going to be shit. It's going to happen. It's going to be nice or whatever. Or it's going to suck.
Wow. Let's see.
Record. Kenny Pickett's going to pass with 5,000 yards. Some crazy shit like that. What do you think? Realistic, optimistic.
Realistically, I'm going to go crazy on this one. Even though earlier I said the Bengals will win the North, I'm just going to go crazy. For some reason, I'll be like one of those Homer Steeler fans for 2 seconds. The Steelers are winning the North. That's going to be the craziest thing that you're going to see. I think Najee is going to come close to 2,000 yards rushing because they have to go back to that old Steeler run game. To get the passing game going, you have to go back to that ground and pound like they had with Bettis and Barry Foster and all those guys, right? And the third wildest thing is Matt Canada finally realizes how to call an offense without calling the same play 32 times, and the opposing defense is saying, they're running the same play. That's what I think those are the 3 wildest things I think will happen.
Okay. Go ahead, Garrett. Go out of style, man.
For me, I think the Jaguars. Wild predictions.
Oh, you want to say it? They win the Super Bowl. Come on, just say it.
No.
He wants to win the division, bro. That's
I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy because everybody knows I'm already thinking it. But Jaguars undefeated Super Bowl. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think we do what every team does in the NFL to some degree. I think we lose a game we should win. I think we lose to the Saints on Thursday night. For some, we lose to Marv and the rest of the Wet Bandits over there. He looks like Marv from Home Alone.
He looks the face, right? I guess
he looks like Marv from Home Alone. Yeah. So So I think we lose to the Saints. I think we go back-to-back dubs in London. Just because it's the Falcons, we're going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. And then
don't you guys always win in London, though?
No, we don't always win in London. But this time we're playing back-to-back, so we're not actually coming back and then going back later. And we have the Josh Allen versus Josh Allen rematch. So we have the superior Josh Allen. Buffalo has the inferior Josh Allen, which, if you know, you know. Well, look at what happened. He cooked him in the one game they played against each other. So, anyways, I think we lose a game we should win. I think we lose to the Saints. I think we go back-to-back dubs in London. And
what are you saying record-wise? 13-4 for the 17 games, right?
17 games. I could see 12-5 or 13-4.
Okay.
Jaguars win 12 games.
Okay.
That's my last bold prediction. Jaguars win 12 games. Because I don't want to get too ridiculous with it. Because every fan thing. I don't want to be a Cowboys fan here. I don't want to be a guy. We're winning everything this year. Dak's not going to throw a whole interception, which he ought to do one in practice, which was hilarious.
That's another guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be, a Browns fan. I'm not going to be, I don't want to be
a Browns fan. Definitely don't.
I won't be a Jets fan either. So I'm not going to say we're going to win it all. But I will say that, I think we can go back to the AFC Championship. I really think we do. I think we have that potential. So I think we lose a game we should lose against the Saints. I'll lose a game we should lose against the Saints while going back-to-back dubs in London. I think we win 12 games minimum, and I think we go to the AFC Championship game. I don't know if we win it, but I think we go.
That's a big improvement, right?
Absolutely.
Year wise, that's huge. I mean, you do on paper, you do have a good team, and you guys set the bar high by having one of the biggest comebacks in playoffs. I mean, what we've done by 24, and
Third
then even though
comeback in playoff history.
Yeah, regardless of the Patrick Mahomes being hurt, you played Kansas City really freaking tough. You know what I'm saying?
We
dude?
did.
So, I guess year 3 with like I said, Sunshine or Goldilocks, whichever you want to call him. He's improved from year 1 to year 2 tremendously. Third year he has a second year with a really good coach and that offense. You could see. I think you could see some crazy numbers. So. I'm actually going to make some wild predictions, 1-1 for each of you guys before we go. So here's one thing. Trevor Lawrence, he's probably going to pass 4,000 yards.
Yep.
All right. I think that's very possible.
I can see that.
All right. Definitely. I think he's going to get 30 touchdowns. I think he had 25 last year. He ran for like 3 or 4. I think he's going to get 30 overall. I mean, maybe 34, not passing, but overall, right? Because he uses his feet. And, not as much as college, but you can still see scores a lot in the red zone.
So you're thinking he's going to play like a top 5 quarterback?
I think so.
I'm with you. That's my other probably bold prediction. I think this is the year he makes the jump to elite quarterback status. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, you drafted him for that reason, and I think So I think I think like that, Doug Peterson. Yes, he's in the right place now. You know what I mean? Not like year 1. Jim and your team. Honestly, I'm with you with Najee Harris. I don't think he's going to rush for 2,000 yards, but I think he could have close to 2,000 yards, maybe 1,800 or 1,700 all-purpose yards. He's definitely going to rush over 1,000, maybe 1,300. But I think this dude can have 500. Remember, we keep forgetting the man can fucking play the passing downs really well. He can catch the ball, man. He did it. He's another guy that can get you 4 or 5 receptions. So I think all-purposely, your dude can have maybe not 2,000, but probably 1,700, 1,800 all-purpose yards. From scrimmage, so that's not out of the realm. I mean, he's one of my high picks. I hope he doesn't bust me this year because I got the 12th pick in my big money league. So I dropped back, man. I gotta make shit work. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys having be coming on, man. Please tell the audience where can they find you. Shout out your social medias, your podcast, and all that good shit, man, so they could find you guys.
Jim, you got this one first.
All right. Well, you can find me on the dumpster fire known as Twitter as Garrett
now, thank you.
Oh yeah, the dumpster fire known as X now, which is going to get confused with X videos and anything related to that genre.
Fucking nuts, bro.
This is going to be great. You can find me on there at Fan in the Van Podcast. All my episodes are on every platform you could think of: Apple, Spotify, Good Pods. Pretty much where everybody listens to everybody else's podcast is where you're going to find all my episodes. And don't listen to it with your kids because some of them do get a bit off the rails. So I'm just letting you know right now, it's not made for kids. I'm telling you now. I don't want parents coming at me. I let my son listen to your show and you are disgusting. Because
bad parenting.
I'm pre-warning you now. As a parent, I'm pre-warning you. I don't even let my own kid listen to my podcast.
Would you take your child to go see Deadpool? It's kind of how I'd look at it.
Me personal, I mean, from some of the shit she watches on Netflix that I've seen her watch, at this point, why not? Go see Deadpool all you want. Just don't listen to my podcast.
You can hear someone else talk about it. Don't hear me talk like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Garrett. Where can they find you, brother?
We got two different places you can find us. So definitely on Twitter for one of them. One of them's at TDS and Pod. That's me and one of my best friends from college, Dalen, doing a more clean version of the shows and stuff like that. Jim and I always do Steel and Teal talk, down the rabbit hole, off the rails, whatever you feel like calling it. That day, that one's over on. I got a second show, which I will be the first to admit I need to upload to that one more. It's called "Is This a Bad Take?" It's ITA Bad Take Pod on Twitter. Two Deuces Sports News is at TDS and Pod on Twitter as well. Find me there. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. Give me, tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. If I have the time, I'll argue with you. If I don't, I'm just going to move on with my day. But listen to the shows. They're on every platform possible. You can't tell me they're not. They're there. We were on Stitcher even till it shut down. But Apple Podcast, Spotify, Good Pods, all of them, both shows are on there. It's the best place to find us.
And they're gonna see you guys in Rumble, bro. I want to see what kind of reaction I get with this one. So
this will be interesting. Yeah, let me know how it goes.
I'll let you guys know. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on, man. All right. Thanks for coming along. We actually look. I think I told you earlier on that I like to keep my shit under an hour.
I was just about to say something.
Yeah, it's an hour. But you know what? Hey, when the beer, you know what they say in the bar, right? When the beer is flowing and midnight hits and the good chick in the corner starts to look hot, bro, just keep going, right? So
exactly.
So
only way you
good show. Appreciate the content, man. You guys are really, really good. And
don't pull the hot pitcher unless you're Aaron Boone.
There we go, brother. Everybody else, thank you for listening. This is your boy. We couldn't end it any other way. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, hey Garrett, Jim, your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast, signing out. Peace.
Peace.